Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about the weaponization of feminism by girl group stans and set a few things clear about feminism, fandoms, and women in music. A go-to reason for feminism being brought up are in spaces where female idols are criticized. And it's a double-edged sword because sometimes it's brought up accurately, when female idols are criticized or hated on for simply just being women. How dare she have body hair? How dare she not be as skinny as I want her to be? Or why she's so skinny, doesn't she know I like them thicker? That is misogynistic, and bringing up feminism in those instances is completely valid and great for starting discussions. Where it doesn't belong, however, is when a female idol actually messes up. For example, they're found being racist, and people say, well, a male idol did this too, and he wasn't hated on. Two things. Most of the times, people that say this are just making up shit because I can guarantee that that male idol definitely was hated on, maybe even severely. Or if not, ask yourself if that male idol is even relevant. Obviously, a female idol that's charting top 10 all year is gonna get more hate than an indie male artist, and that just comes down to exposure. Why didn't he get as much hate? Well, because not as many people know him, and that can happen with male or female idols. Look, in an ideal world, we'd hate everybody equally. A lot. But since misogyny is alive and well, there are instances where male idols get free passes, but female idols don't. Bringing that up, however, does not negate what the female idol did, it is simply a distraction. The issue is when feminism is brought up when a woman actually messes up and is used as a shield to baby them and dodge accountability. It's annoying and irrelevant. No, you're not a feminist icon for defending a grown woman who made a racist joke or a homophobic comment or messed up period. People who make mistakes need to be held accountable, and that is irregardless of gender, social status, race, or sexuality. The only thing that is debatable can be age because I'm much kinder to younger people who mess up than older people for obvious reasons. Also, this is about criticism and the way that's handled. If for any situation someone is hated for no reason, that is slut-shamed, berated, body-shamed, etc., simply for being a woman, that's when you flash that bright red feminism card, and I'll be right there with you. Honestly, don't hate on any idols, except criminals, who get limited jail time because the justice system is broken. Hate on them all you want, I will also be right there with you. It is, of course, impossible for people to hold two different people absolutely equally accountable because many factors come into play. Personal bias, the history of the people being hated on, that is it their first time doing this, or are they a repeat offender? The intention behind it, etc. While I'll be the first to preach about the importance of feminism, I'm also going to point out the way it's misused by people who refuse to understand what it is. Sometimes when a woman is criticized, it's because of who they are and what they did, not their gender. By misusing feminism as a get-out-of-jail-free card, the actual meaning and importance of it gets muddied and people get the wrong idea of what it stands for. Which basically brings me back to my main point. No, girl group stans, you guys are not the feminists you think you are, and here's why. One of the basic pillars of feminism is choice. The choice to wear what you want, pursue the career you want, love who you want, and yes, fangirl over whoever you want. So when girl group stans say things like, standing a boy group is misogynistic, you can't be a feminist and support male idols. Imagine being this obsessed with men. Of course, it's a boy group stan saying this. They're literally denying women their freedom to choose. That's not very feminist. Judging a woman for what brings her joy, whether that's a boy group or a girl group, is just another way of controlling women's tastes, feelings, and self-expression. Can we just let women like what they like? Let them love music made by men without being branded as weak or brainwashed. Let them have their silly little crushes on silly little boys and live their fucking lives. You are not superior for standing women, and the fact that this usually comes from men who stand female idols hiding behind rage bait pages with a brat's profile picture is hilarious. So many of these accounts are found out to be run by men, usually gay men, who hate on young girls and women and get off on calling them misogynistic. It's insanely ironic. It is not anti-feminist to enjoy content made by men. It's not anti-feminist to maybe not enjoy girl groups. People don't have the same taste as you. Maybe they prefer a different sound, concept, or style. It's only anti-feminist if you don't engage with girl groups just because they are girls. But that's not really the case for boy group stans. They simply just happen to like music from boy groups more than girl groups. And shaming women for what they like is so Perez Hilton circa 2005, so cut it out. The overwhelming majority of boy group stans are women. Young, often teenage girls who find joy, safety, and comfort in that fandom. But instead of supporting them, girl group stans often ridicule them, calling them pygmies or delusional or weak-minded, or accuse them of worshipping men. Which is ironic because these same girl group stans claim to be all about uplifting women. You can't say support women and then drag other women simply because of who they're fans of. Feminism doesn't mean liking the same idols, it means supporting women's freedom to like whoever the fuck they want. And if you mock or shame someone for standing a male idol, you're doing the exact opposite. But let's go a little bit deeper and talk about the hate within girl group stans. They often like to say, support all women, and women should uplift women, and that's so true, but then you proceed to tear down other girl groups, especially those seen as rivals. So what you really mean is, support my bias and anyone who benefits her. Cause the second a rival group does well, that solidarity vanishes. It's support women until they debut with a similar concept, or they get more streams or music show wins, or they receive praise that your faves don't, or they're seen with the male idol you want your fave to be with, or they mention wanting to befriend the male idol you think your fave owns. Or they do the same pose that a million other idols have done before, but since your fave did it first, suddenly it's copying. And then their comment section ends up flooded with hate. This creates a toxic pattern where female idols are treated like they're in a zero-sum game where only one can win and everyone else must be torn down. In a healthy feminist dynamic, another girl group doing well should feel empowering. It should mean that the industry is making space for more powerful women. But instead, girl group stans treat it like war. Let's be real, they're not even fighting boy group stans most of the time, they're just fighting with each other over titles like It Girl, Mean Pop Girl, or Biggest Girl Group. That's not feminism, girls, that's competition. And it's usually rooted in insecurity and the patriarchal idea that women are each other's biggest threat. Feminism isn't about choosing the right women to support. It's understanding that all women deserve basic respect, even when they're not your faves. Let's do a quick hypocrisy minute where we see these wonderful people preaching feminism and then turning their back on it the second it doesn't favor their faves. Snaps everyone, great work, absolutely wonderful. And on feeling morally superior just because you stand women, standing women is not the same as respecting them. You could love a girl group's music, outfits, and performances, but still hate on other women for their preferences. Call idols sluts or flops because they're not your faves. Silence or harass women who disagree with you, including body shaming and doxing them. Celebrate women only when they're palatable, pretty, and on brand for your tastes. Performative feminism has become very trendy in stan spaces. It's a badge, not a belief. Girl group stans often position themselves as morally superior, as if standing women automatically clears their slate. They can say the most vile, slut-shaming girl-on-girl hate imaginable, but justify it with, I can't be misogynistic, I have a woman in my profile picture. As if consuming girl group content is some kind of feminist immunity badge. But hey, feminism is not about who you stan, it's about how you treat other women. Even the ones you're not fans of. Even the ones you dislike. Even the ones you feel threatened by. True feminism is not branding, because if your so-called feminism disappears the second another girl gets popular, dares to like a male idol, criticizes your fave, or just outshines your fave, then your feminism was never real. It was just an aesthetic, something cute to put in your bio while you bully other girls online. No, you're not a misogynist for disagreeing with a woman. You are, however, a misogynist if you reply with barely contained insecurity and get personal just because you couldn't handle another woman being able to have a different opinion. Doesn't that sound familiar? But it's okay, you're not just a misogynist. You're also a loser. So, conclusion? No, you're not a feminist. You're just a bitch in girl group merch. And who am I? I'm just a bitch who can't get her hands on merch, so we're like two peas in a pod, maybe. But at least I don't use feminism as a safety net, so I'm maybe a slightly cooler pea. Okay, bye.